welcome to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the British Christmas tree and the American Christmas tree.
Yes.
Basically, what we decorate
Christmas
them.
Tree,
Christmas tree. Wah, 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 wah. Because I don't know the words, you see. I don't sing the carols anymore.
Oh my god.
Because I'm a Scrooge.
Stop lying.
I'm a Scrooge. And I don't decorate trees anymore either. I'm done with that.
You are a bit of a Scrooge, actually.
Yes, bah humbug to it all. That's what I say.
Funnily enough, though, this episode was your idea.
Yeah, it was. Was it?
Yeah.
Oh. I must have a word with myself later.
Oh my god.
No, the Christmas tree, and you know, it's been a big thing in Britain, and it's been a big thing over here.
The Christmas tree, that's pretty popular, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It seems like a lot of people have Christmas
trees
nowadays.
They do. And I mean, it's obviously a Christian thing, but I mean, even before that, ancient Romans, Vikings, you know, everything before that were like, they worshipped, even the pagans worshipped like evergreen, you know, because I mean, a Christmas tree remains green in winter, doesn't it?
Oh,
you know,
right, yeah.
So it was like, oh, this is this magical thing, you know, we worship it, it's so awesome. And
oh, that's funny, I didn't know that.
Long before Christianity came about, you know, with its rock and roll.
Yeah.
Jazzing things up.
Rocking around the Christmas tree.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, everybody.
Jeez.
But really, yeah, I mean, the tradition, that's kind of what we know today, started in Germany.
Yeah.
You know, people would bring trees from outside the pine tree in, and they decorate it with, like, candles and stuff.
Yeah, gee, I cannot imagine that. That's the ultimate traditional.
Yeah, they'd actually stick candles on it and light it, and I think it was because of the star. You know, to remind the stars in the sky and remind, the stars that meant Jesus, and, you know, led the wise men to Jesus and everything, and, you know, just to remind Christians about that.
The North Star, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it became popular with, in England in about 1841, when Prince Albert, who was Queen Victoria's...
Yeah, they deal with that in an episode of
Victoria. Yeah, he brings his Christmas trees, like, and everybody's like, what's that?
What are you doing with that?
What's that? And he's like, yes, this Christmas tree. Yes, very, very good.
Yeah.
It's very nice. You like this Christmas tree? We'll do this, and we'll put the candles on it.
They hung them from the ceiling, too, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, because they were huge. I mean, they'd have to cut them down. I mean, obviously, you know, everybody who's seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
God, yes.
Got to go out to the Christmas tree plant and cut down the tree and strap it to the car. And bring it home and put it in the house where it's 18 foot tall, but the room's only 7 foot. You know.
Before we carry on, let us know on social media whether you guys have a real tree or a fake tree. Because
I think the majority of people these days have a fake tree.
You think so?
Who wants... Because let's face it, when I was a kid, we had a real tree, I'm pretty sure. I can remember it now.
Yeah, we did too.
And it was a fire hazard.
It is a fire hazard,
even without putting the candles on it and all that bloody nonsense.
Well, it definitely was back when we were kids, because the lights
would get hot.
Would get really hot.
Oh, yeah.
They're not like lights nowadays. They make sure that the bulbs don't really get that hot, even if you leave them on all day, all night. You know, especially LED. Yeah. But when we were kids, I remember, especially the bigger bulbs. The ones that were slightly bigger.
Yeah, they got hot.
Oh my god, you could really burn yourself touching one of those. I know we make it sound like we're so old, but you know, it wasn't all that long ago.
Yeah, I mean, the candles on the tree, obviously, that went out of style pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Prince Albert brought the Christmas tree from Germany and put it in Windsor Castle, and then they were illustrated in a newspaper. The family were around it, so everybody loved Queen Victoria. This was the Renaissance for the royal family, because everyone loved Queen Victoria but hated the previous administration. You know?
Yeah.
The previous royal family, George III, George IV, nobody really cared for him, you know?
Yeah.
So Queen Victoria, very popular monarch, and everybody took what she said as gospel.
Yeah.
She was the Oprah of her
day.
Oh
my God, I was going to say that.
Oprah. Yeah, you were going to say, well, I mean, Oprah,
no, that's so hilarious.
The Oprah of her day, and you're just saying, she was the Oprah Winfrey of her day, wasn't she? Yeah, you get a Christmas tree, you get a Christmas tree, everybody gets a Christmas tree.
Oh my God.
It's like, so everybody did, everybody drank tea because of her, everybody wore the same outfits as her,
clothes, yeah.
Everybody did as she did.
Decorated
as she did, yeah, by royal decree, So, they were decorated with candles and, a great fire hazard, So many trees, someone would knock into it, after they'd had one too many sherries or gins, and then the whole house burnt down. It's like, oh, how did that happen? It's like, well, we put candles on the tree, didn't we? Like idiots.
Whose brilliant idea was that?
So, it's a very...
it looked really
smoky
beautiful.
Christmas.
It looked really beautiful, though.
I mean, I'm sure it did, but I can imagine the smoke. Even the smoke from all those candles, and it's like, how were they on there? They were waxed to the leaves or what?
No,
like the branches.
Haven't you seen illustrations of it? Like they had them on those little. It looks like basically the little candle stands or whatever you call them. I don't know. I'm having trouble getting it out.
Yeah, but they'd have to
that
balance
you would carry
them
around. Yeah, you just balance them on the branch.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
fine.
Maybe they figured out some way to clip them on there. I have no idea.
Yeah, but then of course, then it became like, oh well, electric lights are the best way to go. But also they were decorated with sweets and cakes and ribbon and stuff like that, in the early days. But in 1880, Woolworths first sold manufactured Christmas tree ornaments, and they proved to be very popular.
Cute.
Yeah, so everybody started getting in on it then.
Yeah.
And, hanging, because I remember, I mean... We usually the way we differ with it when I talk about what was on top of the tree was a fairy or an angel.
Yeah. And you're calling an angel a fairy.
Yes,
though, right?
It was it was like she,
one and the same to you.
She'd be like that.
Because to me, a fairy is like someone with pointed ears.
Well, it just looked like a fairy
wings,
to me.
And fairy wings and angel wings are slightly different,
We're getting into the semantics of it, are we? It's like, oh no, that's not a fairy, that's actually an angel because her wings are rounded, you see?
Yeah.
It's like, I know my angels from my fairies, okay? No, but I mean, that's what I used to call it. I mean, I guess because other kids called it that. I don't know why. Maybe my mother and father called it a fairy. I've heard British
people call it the fairy, yeah.
The fairy, the Christmas fairy, yeah. So that's what we put on top of the tree. We never had a star. I don't remember ever having a star on there.
I think we had both. We had
the angel
either or. I remember my grandma, whose heyday was the 50s and the 60s, right? So I remember, there's people who get stuck in a period and then that's it. They
1950s,
they don't modernize. And so I remember she still had what was, I can imagine, their same tree topper, since probably her and my grandpa got married.
Yeah.
And it was like this foily material and it had lights coming through it.
Oh, yeah.
But it looked very 60s, probably.
60s, yeah.
But I think sometimes, there would be an angel and it was just depended on the year, It's
oh, this year we'll put the angel up on the tree. It's more of a star year, actually. 1964, whatever. But it's, again, that was one thing that used to differ. I never remember having a star on there, but it would be the same sort of thing.
Do you remember seeing a star anywhere though, anybody's houses
Maybe.
you went into, or is it just it's typically a fairy?
It's typically an angel fairy, yeah.
Yeah, an angel fairy
or an angel, and maybe they go, oh, put the angel up on the tree.
Yeah.
But usually we'd be the other decorations would be tinsel. We'd wrap the whole thing in tinsel, red and green.
Do they still do tinsel?
I think so.
What about icicles?
Icicle lights?
No.
No.
Icicles. We called them icicles. I think that's what they're called. They were like a...
Gold dusted ones?
No. They were like tinsel, only long and... Oh, what are you... Maybe you're calling that tinsel. Okay, what's tinsel to you?
Tinsel's that stuff that's in a wrap. It's like a long snake kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
It's long and it's like
you
fluffy.
wrap it around the tree.
And you wrap it around.
That.
Yeah, that's
okay,
tinsel.
Okay, yeah, that's tinsel to us.
I used to get a little bit of, years later, I used to get a little bit of tinsel and cut it and put it around Sooty, my cat's collar. Around every December, I used to do it, and he never complained about it. He'd just run around with it.
He never
around his little collar with like little blue or green or red tinsel. He's like, because he had a collar on.
Oh my god!
He was very festive.
Sooty was the cutest.
If I could get him in a little Christmas, in a little Santa hat, he would have had a Santa hat.
He probably would have let you. He was so like laid back.
Yeah. Well, we can't do it with Holly, but their name's already Holly, so.
No, we would put icicles on. So icicles were like, they were the same kind of shimmery, foily material, only they'd be long like that.
Long, they were like a streamer
long
type thing.
Strings. Yeah. And you would basically take each individual one, or maybe like 2 or 3 at a time, and just drape them over the ends of the Christmas tree, over the tips of the Christmas tree, so that they hung down like in a waterfall kind of style.
Yeah, maybe we did that.
They looked really pretty. I always wanted them on the Christmas tree when I was little because I liked those shimmery, the way they looked. But they were so annoying because in America we have central heating, which sucks the moisture out of the air in the house.
That's the only bad thing about central air.
So when you walk by the Christmas tree, these things are made out of this like really thin, like foily material, but like really thin.
Static.
Stick right to
Static.
you.
I thought you were going to say it was going to pop and then the whole tree would catch fire.
Oh, no. You walk by the Christmas tree and you would pull all the icicles off the Christmas tree because they just stick to your outfit, whatever you're wearing. You're like suddenly very decorative.
Yes. I mean, I vaguely remember kind of having those sort of things, but it would be usually like the red and green baubles, ornaments. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
silver and gold.
Yeah, that's kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then like little like things that reminded you of Christmas, like little like little ornaments that went on the tree that were personal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely remember like a little snowman or something like that. Something like.
Things, that you just collected throughout the years, yeah.
But the thing I do remember the most, and you don't seem to do it over here, is putting chocolates on the tree.
Oh, no.
Tinfoil wrapped chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was my favorite. My mother was a chocoholic, so, we had the advent calendar and the chocolates on the tree, and it's like, I was destined to get a sweet tooth.
If you guys listen to, I think it was a previous podcast last week, like Thursday, we talked about some of the words that Dominic used, whatever, when we first met, and I only associated them with like my grandpa, like old man, like nobody, and like nobody says them anymore. To me, that's the same thing with chocolates on the Christmas tree. It's like a very old-fashioned thing.
I think it might be now in Britain. I don't know if anyone else does it. I mean, if you're British and you have a family and you still put chocolates on your Christmas tree, then let us know, if it's still a tradition for you. Because I remember it. I mean, I remember everybody, they'd sell them at Christmas. They'd be in like a box and they'd be wrapped with a little bow on them to go on the branch.
Yeah.
And they'd be like a little Santa or a snowman or something. Cadbury would make them, or Nestle or whoever.
So,
and they would be either like...
Did they have a string, or they had a...
They had a little string, and the foil just attached to the foil that it was wrapped in.
Yeah.
And the chocolate would be like, either solid milk chocolate, or it would be a caramel. And it was like a tiny one, or it'd be a hollow Santa.
Yeah. Because that was a thing.
And it was tiny little things,
That's a thing I associate with my grandma. And my grandma is 90, you guys. And, that's the thing I remember her telling me that they did when she was a kid. Put chocolates on the tree, oranges, apples. They would hang these on the tree,
Yeah, I think we had like oranges and stuff maybe too. I can't remember. But I remember the chocolates, obviously, because I used to be like, oh, can I have a chocolate off the tree? And be like, no. You know? I'd get, no. It's like, oh, I've already had like 5 or something.
Yeah, candy canes. That's our candy that we hang on the tree.
That's something that wasn't popular in Britain, candy canes.
Now you can find Christmas tree ornaments. We call them ornaments. In Britain, they call them baubles. That look like little candies. They'll look like they're a candy in a wrapper, and you hang them on the tree, but it's just a decoration. It's not actual food.
Well, that's no fun, is it? But yeah, the chocolate on the tree was something that was... But icicle lights, I do remember putting on there. They
icicle lights?
Yeah, they were tree lights, but they looked like icicles. They were shaped. Looked like an icicle, and they were different colours. That was like our tree lighting. Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, because I don't remember them twinkling, but I remember them sticking out everywhere. They wouldn't hang down. They just like stick out, because whatever,
Yeah. I mean, because we have icicle lights over here. You've seen them. People hang them on the edge of their house, and they look like icicles. We put ours on the tree. Yeah. I mean, were they meant to go on the tree?
I think so, yeah. I think that's what they were supposed to do. I mean, we didn't really decorate outside. What I remember, maybe my mother or my father doing, because we had a B&B, our front window, because we lived in a terraced house back then, was like putting lights around the window, framing the window and just having them go ding dong, like...
Yeah, twinkling.
And we put like a Merry Christmas sign in the window, and that was it.
What about like strings of popcorn? Do people do that in Britain? No?
Popcorn isn't really the big thing.
A huge thing, yeah.
Yeah, because somebody actually on Instagram was talking about they just recently moved to Liverpool. And they go, oh, popcorn isn't a thing here. I have to go and make my own now,
Just buy the kernels and make it in a pan on the stove. Yeah.
I mean, it's like popcorn in bags isn't a thing. So, it's just like, I mean, the only time I remember ever having popcorn was at the movie theater.
Yeah, I mean, if we have British listeners who have no idea what we're talking about, in America, you can buy a box of popcorn and they come in individual bags and you just stick the bag in the microwave and the popcorn pops in the bag.
Yeah. And then you just scoff your face. And it's like, I never really was that into... I like popcorn, but I was never really into it because, I mean... It gets stuck in my teeth and it's like annoying,
I remember my brother and I begged my mom to put popcorn on the Christmas tree one year, and she was like, oh, okay, fine. You guys are going to have to do it, because I guess maybe she'd done it already in her life. And if any of you guys have ever done it, you'll know the pain of putting popcorn on the tree.
Yeah.
You have to like basically sew the popcorn together. You like stick a...
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You stick you stick thread on a needle and you're basically threading them together. And it's popcorn, so it's breaking and falling off the thread. And so you have to get another one.
Why put popcorn on the tree if you can't eat it?
It looks really cute. Yeah, you could eat it. It's just got thread through it. I mean, you could eat it if you want to, but it's going to be stale by the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, just get fake ones.
It looks cute. Apparently, people used to also string cranberries. You would string cranberries. Like, they make fake strands of cranberries.
Fruits and
now.
nuts. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of stuff, like, we'd have, like, going off on, like, Christmas traditions now. Mm-hmm. Like, with the stockings on the edge of the bed and the stockings on the fireplace and everything like that. One of the Christmas, like, foods and stuff that we used to have was, like, nuts.
Yeah.
Like walnuts and Brazil nuts and stuff like that. It was, and when I was a kid, I hated nuts.
Yeah.
Peanuts, everything. I couldn't understand.
I was never big on nuts.
Cracking walnuts
except for
like
peanuts.
That. And it'd just be like, I'm not a big fan of them. Like Brazil nuts. What I'd do is the Brazil nuts were covered in chocolate. Mm. Or sugared almonds was another one, and I just eat like the sugar off of them. The sugar and chocolate, and I'd just be like, yeah, you can have the nut. Now I'd probably eat them, now because I like nuts now, so.
Oh God, that just reminds me of when we were in Spain and we could smell the chestnuts roasting. I'm sure we probably told this
chestnuts
story.
Chestnuts roasting, and they weren't on an open fire.
I'm sure we probably told this story last year.
Yeah, we probably did, yeah.
And Dominic's dad was like, "Oh, do you guys want some chestnuts?" And of course, Dominic and I were both like, "Yeah, that's so Christmassy. We'll get some. They smell really nice." Oh, they were horrible, you guys.
They were
Chestnuts
horrible.
are not good.
And the funny thing is, because I didn't really know how to eat them, they came in and they were hot and stuff like that, so I just popped them in the mouth.
Yeah.
With the shell on.
Oh, yeah.
And I was chewing the shell.
I think I did the same, yeah.
And my dad goes,
"What are you doing?
What are you doing? You get the jelly from the inside." And I'm like, "Really? Oh, okay, I thought it was a..." And I got the jelly. I said, "The jelly's bloody tasteless."
The jelly?
Well, whatever the chestnut inside, the nut inside is soft and fleshy,
Yeah.
And it's like,
it tastes like absolutely nothing.
Tastes like absolutely nothing. I said, the skin of it had more flavor.
Yeah, it had at least a roasty flavor.
And I was like, what you need here is not roasted chestnuts, or I'm surprised. Well, I mean, it's Spain, and it's Europe, so they don't really go in for all that kind of stuff where you sugar in everything, know. They put sugar on those things.
You're gonna say the nuts in New York City, the roasted nuts.
Oh yeah. Now we're talking.
Yeah, those are really
the
good.
hot honey roasted peanuts, I think they were.
But talking about fruit and nuts, that's another thing my grandma always used to say as a kid, was that's what they would get in their stocking, would be fruit and nuts, pears and big whatever kind of nuts, I don't know, walnuts or something, I think a couple times she put it in our stocking, and when I was a kid, and of course, I'm a snobby little kid, and I'm just like, oh, what? A nut in my stocking, walnuts in my stocking. Are you crazy? What is this?
When I was a kid, my gran knitted me a stocking.
Yeah.
And with my name on and everything,
Aww,
It was like one of those things, it was a long stocking, it was. And in Britain, I don't know if it's still a tradition, but they used to hang the stocking at the edge of the bed, and that's where Santa would fill it. And that was, just to make sure the kids were asleep.
Yeah.
So, you can't see Santa, or he won't. If Santa comes in and he sees you're awake, he's not filling that stocking.
You're in big trouble.
You're in big trouble, and he might not even leave any presents.
Yeah.
He'll be out that window,
Yeah.
And it's just like, so they, and it was so magical because, I'd go down and be like, okay, I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna like pretend I'm asleep, stay awake. Fell asleep, and then wake up and the stocking was bulging. I'd be like,
that is I can see that would be so fun.
It's like, how did he get in here without me, I
wonder why that didn't stay the same in America.
Because apparently you're so loud.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care,
Oh,
that St. Nicholas soon would be there. Yeah. We have to hang them.
Santa's loud in America, I think,
I think
he gets into America and he's just like, oh, yeah.
Doesn't Santa come down the chimney in Britain?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense for them to be on
comes down that
fireplace.
I remember one year, because we had an actual fire in, I think it was the first house I lived in. Mm-hmm. And it was a roaring fire, and I was freaking out Christmas Eve. I was like, get the fire out, Santa, I was like, my parents were like, we'll turn the fire, we'll douse the fire, don't worry. And I was like, no, we've got to douse the fire, we've got to go, if we're going to bed now, we've got to douse it, it'll be too hot for when he comes, and he won't want to come, and you won't be able to see.
Yeah.
And, and they were just like, Dominic, go to bed, it's fine, it's like, I was like 5 or something at the time. But anyway, I remember I went upstairs and I was just kind of freaking out about that all night. Just like that.
So worried about Santa.
Because usually they'd let the fire just burn out a little bit, when they go to bed or something. They wouldn't really douse it.
Yeah.
Which was dangerous, but it was the late 1980s, early 1990s, and, nobody really cared about health and safety back then. It's just like, especially at Christmas. But, yeah, I just remember freaking out about, coming down the chimney and stuff like that. And, and I remember then the next morning I'd go down, I'd be like, oh, did he come? And I'd be looking at the grate of the fire to see, oh, yeah, I can see if he, if he left any clues. And
if he left any clues.
And, I've told this story before.
Santa was here written on the inside of the fireplace.
Sometimes there would be soot, just like a sooty kind of footprint
Yeah.
Like, around the fire grate, you know, around there, you know, they go, oh, there's some soot. He's like, oh, yeah, Santa, he always makes a mess, you know. He's like, oh, he's got to be in and out here quick. He's like, oh, yeah, he had the, he had the mince pies, because we lay out some mince pies for him. He loved a mince pie.
Yeah.
And a carrot for the reindeer.
Yeah, same.
And a glass of wine.
No, milk.
It was milk, but it was Santa liked wine at our house. And the reindeers were doing the driving anyway, so it was all right. But yeah, that was pretty much my Christmases as a child, you know.
Yeah. Getting back to Christmas trees, though.
Oh, yeah.
I was just
thinking, I went off topic there.
Yeah, we started talking about other things. You were talking about real versus artificial Christmas trees.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Oh, I can remember the first year that we had an artificial Christmas tree, though. And I have no idea, because I was really little, like, why I cared. But I was just like, I cannot believe this. I was so appalled that we got a fake Christmas tree. You know what I mean? Like, it had to be a real Christmas tree or it wasn't Christmas, you know? Even though I distinctly remember, like, months and months later, like during the summertime, sometime when I was a kid, like, laying in the floor, playing with toys or something, and going, feeling something stab me. Going, God, what is that? And then I'm like, kind of move around the carpet a little bit, and I see it, and it's a needle from the freaking Christmas tree. Like embedded in the carpet.
It really is like, yeah, because we had, and I seem to remember it was in a pot, because, you know, it needed water and everything, you know, and the needles were all around it and stuff like that. And I remember, you saying that, it just triggers a memory of, like, all the needles. And, you know, we had a dustbuster in those days, so we'd go under there my mother would.
Yes.
But I remember once something happened to the tree, or it kind of, like, sagged or something and fell. And it didn't fall over completely, but it sagged against the thing, and we were like, we're not doing this again. You know? We're getting a fake one.
Yeah.
And I remember clearly, I think we got rid of it just before, on, like, Christmas Eve, and we managed to go to Argos and get a fake one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so, and it was a smaller one.
Yeah.
It was quite small and everything, but so we had to, like, put a table on it, and it was like, actually, it's not too bad, that. Yeah, you know. It was just because people now get these tinsel trees. And they get really small trees, you know. Like, they can go on a desk. And
we have that little Charlie Brown Christmas tree, don't
we?
Well,
the little Charlie Brown Christmas tree, you know, that Charlie Brown, I mean, Snoopy and everything was popular in Britain to a point.
Yeah.
It wasn't as big as it was over here, so Charlie Brown Christmas tree was kind of like, too violent.
To me, though, like, you know, I started to get into the artificial tree because you could get them much bigger than a real Christmas tree. Usually, if you had a real Christmas tree, they were kind of small. Over here, the ones you usually see anyway, they're smaller.
Ours was pretty big, as I remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get...
Ours was very much Clark Griswold tree,
It makes me feel really sad now as an adult, though, to see all those Christmas trees, like, outside of the grocery store or wherever. Like, especially the closer it gets to Christmas. I'm very much like, what was it? An episode of Friends, was it? Where Phoebe's like, oh no, you know, no one's chosen. It's an episode of something anyway.
No one's chosen
that tree. Yeah, like, oh no, it's not gonna have a home. Like, its life has been wasted. You know, life
has been prolonged, more like.
I'm very much like that, you know, like, oh no, there's all these trees left, and it's just like,
Yeah,
I think they should, like, just grow them in pots. Just grow the trees in pots. They don't have to be cut down. Then they've still got their roots, and you have to carry the pot, you know, into the house, and then you can plant it in your backyard
these month-long to full-size, you know, Christmas trees. Start off as a little tiny tree, and it'll just grow.
I mean, I know they're
grow
not
your own Christmas tree. By December 25th, it will be a full flourishing tree.
I know.
It's like, how are we going to decorate it then? You know, put the lights on it and everything.
I mean, I know they're not out, like, cutting down trees like Clark Griswold style for Christmas, you know. I know they're grown in a farm with the purpose of being cut down, so.
All 50 states apparently grow their own, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd have to, wouldn't they?
I like the look of them. I mean, they're real, obviously. They're beautiful, and they smell really nice. They fill up your house with, like, the outdoor smell. The smell of the outdoors, you know. But
well, they've got tree sap as well.
Oh my god, the smell of the outdoors. Just the word outdoors just reminded me this year. Have you guys seen the picture of the tree that they cut down for Rockefeller Center this year? And there was a little owl in it, apparently.
A little owl.
Oh my god, that little baby was so cute.
Yes, and he made the, I don't know how many, a 200-mile trip or whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever. I think, I don't know where it came from. He was just like, oh no,
I got trapped in here.
And apparently it's an owl that it's not usually born in the fall. It's usually born in the spring. So they're just like, oh, it's kind of like a weird thing anyway. Like there shouldn't have been a baby owl in the tree at this time of year, you know.
A little baby Hedwig.
And he was so sweet, and they just like took care of him and then I guess released him back or they're going to or whatever. Yeah. But
because I don't know where they get the tree from. They get
just
it
different
from
places every year.
Oh, is it? Mm-hmm. Because in Trafalgar Square in London, it's like a long-standing arrangement. I think Norway supplies the Christmas tree.
Is it Norway?
Yeah, it's from Norway. It's a gift from the people of Norway to London, to Britain, to the people of Britain, for its support in World War II.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a long-standing kind of like thing. Really, you know, every year we'll send you a Christmas tree to put up.
The one in Rockefeller Center, I think they have scouts all throughout the year, like just go around, you know, not too far. I think that typically comes from like Connecticut, you know, but it can be anywhere, like Vermont or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? And they have people just driving around going, oh, yeah, that tree. I've got my eye on that tree. Is there a nicer one? I don't know. Maybe people can submit it. You know, I guess, I've got this tree on my property that's, you know, huge.
The contest. We're looking for a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a bloody big one.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Well.
But, yeah, that's Christmas trees for you.
Christmas trees for you. They're big and they shed.
They do. They do.
The real ones, anyway.
But like I said at the beginning of the podcast, let us know whether you use a real Christmas tree or a fake Christmas tree and why you prefer it over the alternative. I personally like the look of like an aluminum Christmas tree, like what they had in the 50s, 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the little silver Christmas trees. Yeah, those are quite cute. I mean, you can get them in any color, obviously, now, if you get the artificial like kind. Yeah.
Red, green, blue, silver,
pink.
White, pink.
I've seen pink. Yeah, really cute. Barbie doll Christmas tree.
There you go.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate your support. We hope you're having a good lead up to Christmas, and we will talk to you again on Thursday.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.